Hello, I'm Glenn.
I'm Alan.
I'm Esteban, and this is Telford News.
Today we have been met by Alan Frost. Hello Alan.
Hello there.
And thank you for joining us. For the viewers at home, Alan, why don't you tell us a bit about yourself?
Well, I was born in Wellington a few decades ago, and one of the things I do is write local history books. I've got about 25 or so now, mainly to do with Wellington and the Wrekin. And about 2 years ago, we formed a little history group. We call it the Wellington History Group, quite appropriate. And we cover the Wrekin, Wellington and the Weald Moors. That's our area of interest. Now, about a year ago, we were given a grant by Awards for All to produce, free of charge to the public, 4 issues of a magazine that we call Wellingtonia. And that covers, again, the history of our area.
What is Wellingtonia and what has it accomplished?
Well, Wellingtonia is our full-colour glossy magazine, 20 pages long. We received the award from Awards for All, part of the Lottery Fund, just over a year ago, and we are contracted to produce 4 magazines within 12 months. As it happens, we're going to be able to produce a 5th one in October, and that's the problem afterwards.
And what is the problem, Alan?
The problem is funding. We need to raise around about £4,500 for us to do 4 more issues in 2010.
How can people donate to keep Wellingtonia going?
Well, by making cheques payable to Wellington History Group and either sending them to me or our group treasurer, and details will be given after the end of the interview.
We believe you just had a new book published. What is the book called and could you tell us about it?
Well, the book's called Death and Disaster in Victorian Telford, and it tells you everything you didn't realise you wanted to know about death in Victorian times. And the reason I wrote the book, quite honestly, is that there's a headstone in the churchyard here at Wellington that records the death of 4 children by explosion. And it turns out that those 4 children were my great-great-grandfather's children. And that got me interested in what happens when people die in Victorian times. Hence the book.
Thank you for your time, Alan.
It's been a pleasure.
I'm Glenn Bridges and this is Telford News.
All Saints Parish Church is the 3rd church that there's been on this site. The first one came about in Saxon times. It's mentioned in Domesday. The second church came about in about the 12th century. During the English Civil War, unfortunately parliamentarian troops occupied the church and decided to use the statues and windows for target practice. And bit by bit over the next 100 years or so, the church got in such a state that it was about to be falling down rather than demolished. Anyway, it was demolished. This church was built in 1790. This is the Lychgate to All Saints Parish Church. It was built in 1922 as a war memorial for the dead of the First World War. It was also used to include plaques, brass plaques, for people who died during the Second World War, and of course it's the focus of attention for all remembrance services on the 11th of November each year.